Jennifer Fenn is the author of the young adult novels Flight Risk and the forthcoming Sound Check, both published by Roaring Brook Press. She's a graduate of Lycoming College and Rosemont College's MFA program and has taught middle school language arts. She lives with her husband and daughters in Downingtown, PA, and I might add is currently teaching the awesome Writing for Young Adults class. Please welcome Jennifer Fenn.
The man, the myth, the legend, Rez. My mom wrangled him for private lessons. At least she got an employee discount. She worked 2 jobs, nights and weekends, teaching music while too exhausted to write her own. After my first year, Rez ramped up our schedule to twice a week. Way later, my mom clued me in that he didn't charge her for the extra lessons. Rez was short, flushed, string-bean skinny, and inexplicably overdressed in collared shirts and treble-clef ties for the occasion of teaching elementary schoolers to drum. Sweat stains bloomed over his button-downs by the end of every session. He was a grunge veteran like my mom, and the two of them spent plenty of time between lessons reminiscing about the days of flannel and Pearl Jam. They would wax nostalgic about tearing the plastic wrapper off a CD or staying up late to watch 120 Minutes. When I showed up for my first lesson, a 6-year-old who didn't know the difference between noise and songs, Rez was lying down on the wooden floor. His drumstick-printed socks peeked out from under his khakis. I was afraid he was dead. Several minutes went by before I reached out a sneaker and prodded his dress shoe. Then he lifted his head and smiled, his dark frame glasses askew. He waved me over and patted the floor. I slowly lowered myself down, sitting next to him. He shook his head and waved his hand over the floor. He wanted me to lie down. Then we spent an hour bellies to the floor, letting a medley of songs from AC/DC to Nirvana ripple through us. I didn't touch the kit, and I was as bent out of shape as the dude's frames. At the end, he shook my hand. At my next lesson, I caught him tucking his glasses into his pocket and then sitting on them. During that session, Rez positioned me with my palms pressed to the wall while he laid down a simple beat on the studio's kit. The cymbals swished in my throat, my jaw. The bass drum shuddered in my feet, trembled in my toes. Then he stood and gestured toward the throne. My turn. He held up his fingers and I read his lips. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. He clapped and I drummed, never taking my eyes off his hands. He signaled for a timeout. He held out his hands for the sticks and I passed them. He eyed my blue and red Band-Aids, then scribbled on a stray piece of sheet music. You're holding the sticks too tight. Pretend they're baby birds. Don't crush them, but don't let them fly away. Turns out you're not actually supposed to dent the snare like a used car. Week after week, Rez clapped and stomped and marched like a demented conductor as I watched and pounded and tried to keep up. He'd wipe his brow and chug water. Sometimes he'd take a breather, lean against the doorframe, and flick the lights to the beat. 1 beat at a time, hours of practice, my fingers red and sore. I learned to read tabs, all those X's and O's, and added another language to my repertoire. I learned singles, doubles, paradiddles. Despite his wrinkled clothes and mangled glasses, the Rez was a total taskmaster. A single stroke roll over and over until it was impeccable. Right, left, 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 for hours and hours. March, soldier, because you've been recruited into the percussion army. Boot camp starts now. Singles, doubles, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Don't even think about tapping those cymbals because you, grasshopper, are not worthy. You're a rusted, immovable tin man except for those wrists. Get that stick off your second knuckle. Slouch at your own peril. Blister, Band-Aid, callus, repeat. Singles, doubles, add paradiddles, and now the situation is totally out of control. Slow down and think about this one or you're going to get dizzy. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right. Still not worthy. You put the rude in rudiment. Flams, one stick higher than the other. 2 swooping birds. These fledglings finally pushed out of their nests and flying. The pattern of hi-hat, snare, bass on the quarter notes, slowed down at first to a dirge, gradually sped up until I could feel it, until playing was like breathing. Because I was born deaf, and I was born a drummer. So as the novel continues, the protagonist is weighing the choice of whether or not to get a cochlear implant. And so this portion of the story kind of jumps ahead. They give me a sheet with pre-op tasks to check off. A scavenger hunt of hassle and pain, a meningitis vaccine, a hospital bag with a button-down shirt and slip-on shoes. My mom wants to buy me pajamas, which I veto. I sleep in my boxers like a damn man, so I'll be wearing sweatpants and a flannel like a grunge hobo. Grunge hobo, that's a band name. I meet with Dr. Maxwell a few more times. I check out the implant, which looks like an iPod, and get the deets on how exactly it works, its care and feeding. We discuss the surgery and how Maxwell will avoid paralyzing my face as he maneuvers around its nose. The doctors will shave the hair around my ears. I'll have reverse earmuffs. Back at home, I check out one side of my head in the mirror and then the other. Then I grab my razor and preview my new look. A few strokes later, I've whittled 2 half circles, alien carved crop circles, white as crescent moons and so tender looking I hesitate to touch them. So I buzz my whole head, something I've never done before. Hair floats to the floor. Strands catch the air like dandelion seeds and shine in the bathroom light. My skull's paste white, pockmarked with divots I didn't know I had. Fleshy, a potato. If my hairless head could crawl off my neck and hide in the closet, I think it would. I mug for the mirror, then brush off my shoulders and nudge the hair to the room's corner with my shoe, scoop it up, dump it in the trash, and saunter downstairs to debut my new look. I runway stroll past my mom, pivot on one foot in front of her, fully aware of how goofy I look. My mom gapes when she sees it. I used to hate to get your hair cut, she signs, then runs her hand over my prickly skull. I have scraps from your first cut in your baby book. I look like the Scream, I signed, and let my mouth hang open in faux fear. It will grow back, Mom signs. She pauses, still eyeing my lunar landscape dome. Are you excited? Pumped. You play. Wouldn't you be excited to hear your own band? She pauses. You shouldn't do this for a girl. I'm not, I tell her. If Tristan weren't in the picture, you'd still go through with it? If Tristan weren't in the picture, everything would be so different that the picture would cease to be. Drumming and the band and Tristan were a tangled knot. Pulling on one thread only tightened the entire thing. How can I ever know what I'd do or who I'd be without Tristan? I nod, and then I hug her, silencing both our hands. I'm going to do one more piece. The hand test. Relax. It's totally rated PG. I collect blisters and calluses like some dudes collect sports trophies or girls, and girls hate it. The ladies at my school always notice. We spoke to each other with our hands after all. They recoiled at my roughness, the thick skin. One asked me if I was contagious. Greta said she felt like she was holding hands with a werewolf. She even bought me some Nivea hand cream. Or rather, the lid said creme, so I guess it was extra fancy. I only used it once. The smell was thick and the creme gloppy. I tried to explain how every raw spot on my fingertips, every sandpaper callus was a badge I'd earned. Hours of practice, a song learned, a beat mastered. A Superman Band-Aid wrapped around my finger like a cape. I'd never sacrifice my shield of skin for a girl. So before I got in any deeper with Tristan, she needed to pass the hand test. If she was repulsed, I knew we were doomed. I'll stop there. Thank you.